Hey guys, I'm here today talking about Motherless Brooklyn, the new film produced, written, directed, and starring Edward Norton, the guy we know from movies like American History X, The Incredible Hulk, Birdman, and many other movies over the last 20 or so years. And yeah, this is a passion project of his. It's a story, it's a gumshoe detective story, noir story, if you will, kind of based in the 40s and 50s. And it's about Edward Norton's character who works for a private detective agency. He's got Tourette's syndrome, and he gets kind of involved in a mystery that leads to discovering uh, and trying to stop corruption in the government, involving a character that was a engineer, but then or maybe even a real estate developer, and then leads to becoming the corrupt city planner. It's actually based on a real city planner. I think his name was Robert Moses, served for the city of New York decades ago, but yeah, it's a detective story based has character based on that person. And anyway, the movie's got Edward Norton in it. It's got Bruce Willis, Willem Dafoe, Alec Baldwin, just to name a few. A really good supporting cast. It almost feels like more of an ensemble piece than it does a vehicle for any one person. But Edward Norton's character is the one we see the most, and it is about his character. Like I said, he has Tourette's syndrome, so that kind of provides some comedic moments throughout the film while they're dealing with this heavy and sometimes dark subject matter. The movie is pretty long. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And overall, I would say I had a good time with it. I think it's a fun period piece. Of course, I really like period pieces. A lot of times, studios don't really like to produce those period pieces because they're so expensive to get the old cars and the old costumes and build the sets and everything. But this excited me. I didn't really have any idea that it was coming out or anything, and I didn't know anything about it. I guess one of the big differences between the novel and the film, because Norton actually started work on this back in '99. They were going to make it right away, but biggest difference is in '99 the novel was actually set in 1999, but the characters act and talk like a 40s and 50s gumshoe detective group, where I think Norton realized that they could try to do that, but to do that, I guess where we are now, because he didn't finish the script until 2012, because obviously they didn't make it in '99. It fell apart, but he finished the script in 2012, and then they finally started working on it a couple of years ago to tell that story in 2019 about guys that are living in 1999 or 2019, I guess, and then trying to have them act and talk like 40s and 50s detectives. Probably not gonna, kind of a big culture clash. Probably not gonna check with today's audiences. So he just decided, well, we'll just actually transport the characters back to the 40s and 50s and have them be in that world. And I think that was a good choice. But yeah, it was. I really liked this. I thought it was really good. I thought the performances were all strong. Again, Willem Dafoe, great supporting performance from him. Alec Baldwin, really good. He kind of and along with Bruce Willis and many others. Again, it's a great supporting cast and very good acting there. Again, Norton having that Tourette syndrome adds that comedic relief, and he does a good job with it. And this is one of the best performances I've seen from him and since Birdman. Anyway, I haven't seen many of the movies since then, but yeah, he does a great job, and the cast does. I think it's technically made really good. You really feel like you're in that time period. Like I said, they hit with the old cars, the streets of New York. They look from that time. It's a very technically well made movie. As far as criticisms, I think it's just a little too long. I think they could have shaved maybe 10 minutes off it. It's about 2 hours and 20 to 2:30. I think you could cut it back to 2:10, maybe even 2 hours, and this would be a rock solid film. But I don't mind movies taking longer if the movies. I'm not one to say, oh, a movie should only be this long. A movie is as long as it needs to be. And this story, I just don't think the way they told it that it needed to be quite that long. But otherwise, this was a really good time in the theater, and I really encourage you to check it out. I know this review is pretty late. The film's actually been out for a couple of weeks now. Unfortunately, it looks like the audiences have pretty much said, yeah, we're not interested in a gumshoe detective story from the 40s and 50s, and that's too bad. It was kind of a original movie, kind of a different sampling for us here in 2019. I had a good time with it. Sometimes these movies, you never know. I mean, they can go off the rails, but and again, not click with modern day audiences, but sometimes these are really good. Again, I always look forward to the period pieces and the noir stories as well. I really love noir. But yeah, check out Motherless Brooklyn if you can. It may not be in your area anymore, but it's still out in theaters. It's not making much money, so if you feel like a good noir story, check it out if you can. I do recommend it here as we get into this fun time of the year. So again, thanks everybody for watching this video. Please don't forget to hit the like button or the subscribe button so you can get notified of my future videos. And I'll be back next time to talk to you about movies and beyond.